Okay, so let's try our next coding exercise. So open the leetcode.com and go to the problem section. And if you search the question number 1299 and hit enter, so we have the question number 1299. So it's come under the easy category. So let's try to solve it. So the question says replace the elements with the greatest element on right hand side. So basically you have given some array. So array is given and it is passed in a function. So when we need to replace every element in the array, so let's suppose this array is given. So array contains 17, 18, 5, 4, 6, 1. So we need to replace every element. So we need to replace 17, we need to replace 18, we need to replace 5, we need to replace 4, we need to replace 6 and then 1. But with which value we need to replace? So they said replace every element in the array in that array with the greatest element among the elements to its right. So let's suppose if we need to replace 17. So what all are the elements which are on the right hand side of the 17? So these are the elements which are on the right hand side of the 17. Now out of 18, 5, 4, 6, 1, what is the maximum element? So 18. So we replace 17 with 18. Now come to the 18. So now we need to replace the 18. Now we will check the right hand side, all the elements of the right hand side of 18. So 5, 4, 6, 1. So which one is the maximum? So maximum is the 6. Then we replace 18 with the 6. Then now we need to replace 5. So on. So basically, so if you see this diagram, so we have this array is given. This is the input array 17, 18, 5, 4, 6, 1. So first we need to replace 17. Right. So first we need to replace 17. So we will look on the right hand side. So right hand side is from 18 to 1. So out of 18 to 1, 18, 5, 4, 6, which one is the maximum? So maximum is 18. So we will replace 17 with the 18. Now we have to check with the 18. So for the 18, we will check on the left hand side. Sorry, on the right hand side. So on the right hand side, there are four elements, 5, 4, 6, 1. Which one is the maximum? 6. So we replace 18 with the 6. Okay. Now we need to replace 5 with some element, right? So to replace, we will check on its right hand side. So on the right hand side, there are three elements, 4, 6, 1. So which one is the maximum? So 6. Now we need to replace 4. So for with 5, we replace with 6. Now we need to replace 4. So we will check on the right hand side of 4. So on the right hand side of 4, 6, 1. So which one is the maximum? 6. So we replace 4 with the 6. Now we need to replace 6. Right, so we will check on the right hand side. On the right hand side 6. So now we will replace 6. So we will check on the right hand side, only one element. So we will replace 6 to 1. Now we have 1. So there is no element on the right hand side. We will replace last element with the -1. So our output array is this. So the same thing it is being done. Replace the last element with the -1 because there is no element after that. Along with that, rest all the elements we need to replace with the greatest element to its right. Okay. So by looking this question, right? So like we need to replace each and every element. So basically, so if we need to replace each and every element, so we need to run some loop. All right. So let's try the simple approach which will come in mind, and we will see whether we will able to solve this question or not, or whether that approach is being accepted on our lead code or not. So first approach is we will start from start and we will go till end. Okay. So n is equal to length of array. So there are, let's suppose, but we will just calculate the number of elements. So in this case, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So n is equal to 6. So in our case, n is equal to 6. Okay. Now we need to run a loop. We need to replace all the elements, and we know the last element need to be replaced by -1. So we will run the loop till here. We will run the loop till here. Okay, so let's run a loop for I in range. So from where we need to start? From 0 we need to start until where? If we said n, if we say n, then n means 6. So it will run till loop 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it will cover all the element, right? But we need to run one less. Why? We will tell you. Okay, let's suppose if we are going to run till end only, fine, till end, then what we have to do? We will come here, we will update the current element. So current element is array of I. So first is the zero element. So we are updating array of zero. So by which element we need to update? So we will calculate the maximum from here. So we will calculate the maximum. So max of array of. So we have to get the maximum from this element. So from array of one, array of I is zero, I plus one till end. So we will get the all the elements, and then we are going to return array. So if we run this, so this something is wrong. So let me tell you why it is wrong. So you could see the max arg is an empty sequence because when it reaches till one, so when it till reaches one, so now it find uh, like I plus one. So there are no elements. So we get like empty sequence, right? And for the empty sequence, there is no maximum value. So that's why we will run till minus one. So if we run till minus one, if now if we run it run, but solution is wrong. Why the solution is wrong? Because we are updating till 6, we are updating till 6, but we are not touching the last element, we are not touching the last element. So before returning, so what we will do, the last element is n minus 1, we are update with the minus 1. Let's try to run it. So our sample cases has been accepted, but let's try to submit whether all the test scenario has been accepted or not. So looks it is taking so much time, definitely it is going to fail. So yes, as expected, it's going to fail for the larger input. So let's suppose there are 90 test cases. So out of 90, 71 test cases run fine and the rest 19 test cases failed. Because if there is a large input, so see, there is a very large input. For the large input, it failed because every time it's going to calculate them like maximum. So this approach is not going to work. Now, what is the second approach? So let's calculate the second. Let's see the second approach. Second approach is also the same. The only trick is because if we start from the starting, then we have to calculate the maximum of all the elements. Maximum of all the element. So can't we just start from the last, right? So in this case, what we will do, we will start from the last, right? So for one, we will just plate minus one. For six, we will see okay, what is the maximum element. For 4, the maximum element already calculated. So we will just calculate, okay, what is the maximum till now? And from 6. So let's try. For basically, we are going to update our element from the end. So for I in range of, so n minus 1. So we are going to start from the last, n minus 1. N minus 1 means 5. So 0th index, first, second, third, fourth, fifth. So this is the fifth index, n minus 1. And we need to go till 0. 0. But if we give here 0, right, then it will only loop till 1 6 4 5 8 18. That's why we need to give minus 1 because we need to cover 17 as well. Along with that, we need to run the loop in the reverse direction, so that's why minus 1. Okay, now what we have to do, so we have to, so okay, we are here, all right, we are running the loop from end, right? So we need to update, our element. But which value we need to update? So we are here, the first element. The first element we know we need to update minus one. But if we just write minus one, then every time it is going to update with the minus one. So let's take some variable max right and equal to minus one. All right. So we will update. So in the first loop where I is equal to like this element. So this element we need to update with the minus one. So minus one will be updated because max right is minus one. Okay. Now the loop will run again. So now we will come here 6. So if we again update, okay, array of like 0 1 2 3 4. 0 1 2 3 4. So array of 4, again we are updating minus 1, but wrong. Now we need to update our max right value. So we need to update our max right value. So how we are going to update our max right value? So what is the max right value till now, which is max right, and and the current element, but current element already we updated. So before updating, we need to store in some temporary variable. So temp. So that's right. Now, after the end of the loop, we are going to return the array. So we are doing what we are doing is, so first we are on the first. Okay. So just ignore this. So first we are on the first last element, or that is on this element. We are updating with -1. Okay, -1 updated. But if we just write this line, then all the element will be replaced by the -1, which we don't want. Right. So we need to update this value, max write value. But how the max write? So max till now. So till now max is -1. So 6 will check with these elements. Right. So the current element and the max till now. So the max till now is max write and the current element temp. So in this, if we start from the end now, we are only checking with the two elements. One loop is running, but the max function is running on the max function is only comparing two elements rather than a whole bunch of range of list. Right. So let's try to submit it. So our sample case has been accepted. So let's try to submit. So our solution has been accepted. Right. So we see two approaches. One approach is if we start replacing from start, for loop will be going to remain same, but the max has to do a lot of work. Every time max has to calculate from 18 to 5, then 5 to 1, then 4 to 1. Like it has to do a lot of work. So what we are doing is we are starting from the last. Okay. So we know, because every element need to be updated with the right of max. So we have the max of right. So now we will just like calculating the new max from the current element and the max till now. So that's the end of the video. You can also try. It's a like a easy question and it's a good question. So thank you.